Hey guys, happy Sunday or maybe Monday depending on when I upload this. It's pretty late, 10:40 p.m. Just really busy day today in terms of doing a lot of physical activity outside, walking a lot, biking a lot, helping my parents with dinner and watching a couple soccer matches. US men and the US women played important matches. So let's just get down to the notes. I want to save the 10-minute or 10 to 15-minute personal videos for when I'm working, which will be a week from Monday. It'll be Monday, July 15th. And I predict that I'll be too busy at that point to make chess videos because the job, it's 40 hours a week plus the time it takes to bike to the train station, get on the train, take the train 20 miles east towards Chicago, and then back. So it's like I take a 6:50 a.m. train to get there, and then I take a train after work and get back to the my hometown's train station at like 5:30 p.m. So it's a long day every time. Um, and I feel like I might be a little bit burnt out after that. Plus this grad school class that I have to take starting this weekend is to learn. It's an optional class, but it's if I pass a certification for Google Suite stuff, because it's a Google Suite class, then it looks good on my resume. And I'm also still taking that um, physics, weather slash climate class. That's just a post bac class so that I can become endorsed in physics when I eventually get a teaching license. Um, so yeah, I predict that I'm not going to really be training in chess during. I mean, I'll try to on the weekends, although my some of my weekends are busy. But during the 6 week summer camp, it's going to be tough. But I still want to do chess videos, or I still want to do daily videos, just so this channel doesn't quit out. Sorry, I'm a little tired and my throat's a little sore, so this video might be tough because it's going to be a lot of talking. And then I think on Friday's chess video, I said that I want to take a break this Wednesday because I'm doing a lot of videos um, the past week or so. But since I've decided that I'm not going to really be doing chess videos, sorry about that bump. I bumped the ping pong table. I'm in the basement again. Um, since I'm not going to be doing chess videos that take up a lot of time, a week from now, I think that I should do a chess video this Wednesday. And then I've been stuck at 12 subscribers for like a week or two now, so I'm trying to get that up. Let your friends and family know about this channel. I'm scared to promote it on my social media stuff, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, because of the personal videos in terms of my mental health stuff and being a virgin and not enjoying college and the stuff about being anti my roommate, stuff I was saying that was complaining about my roommate because he's on the social medias. So I haven't really known how to promote it. Um, so And then the last thing is this Friday night, which will be my kind of my last free night. I want to do a personal video then. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll find some inspiration this week, or maybe I'll just look at the list I have, but nothing on that list is too inspiring. So that'll come Friday night. And we're doing this today, this personality test and analysis of my personality type. These are Myers-Briggs personality types. They call it Jung typology test. Jung was a famous psychologist, I think early 1900s. Um, so, so yeah, we're taking it just so you get to know a little bit more about me. Maybe I'll learn something about myself. But I was inspired by an Andrew Kirby YouTube video about a week ago. Andrew Kirby is this guy from England. He's probably a little bit younger than me, who he's really motivational, and he tries to teach you how to get to know yourself. So he talked about this where he made a video about like how much do you really know about yourself, what are your behaviors, stuff like that. And he suggested taking a personality test and looking at the character analysis. So I already know I've taken this test before on humanmetrics.com, and I took it last week and I got the same personality that they always get, because I think personality doesn't really change over time, and I think because it's based on all the questions, I think it's definitely more accurate than some sort of horoscope or some sort of astrology thing. Um, and I'll show you the character analysis. Character analysis. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So I'll show you. It's a lot of stuff for my specific. It's a lot to read, but I'll read that stuff and I'll highlight the things that make sense for me and talk about the things that don't make sense for me. And when I'm doing these, there's 64 questions. I think it's 16 for each letter. But I'll try to explain my thoughts in these. It's 10:47, so I don't know. Depends on how big the size of this video will be. But maybe I'll just let my laptop run during the night, and then first thing in the morning tomorrow I can just press publish. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. So I want to take this test just to have some fun, and it's personal, and it's not just me talking about something the whole time where there's no basis in reality. I mean, I speak the truth, but this is actual hard evidence of who I am as a person. So we will start it. All right, number one, you are almost never late for your appointments. So big yes or capital yes means it's like it really speaks to you. Yes, lowercase is like mostly agree. This is uncertain. This is somewhat no. This is big no. So that's how it goes for all of these. You're almost never late for your opponents. That's a big yes, because I always keep track of my time, and I use alarms for a lot of things on my phone, the clock alarms. And yeah, I always usually get there a little early, because my thinking is that maybe if I check in early, that get seen earlier, and then I'll have more time after for whatever. You like to be engaged in an active and fast-paced job. I'm gonna say no. I don't think teaching's too fast-paced. I mean, it's sort of active, but it's not like you have to like think of solutions on the fly that much. You kind of just follow a plan, and sometimes the plan deviates, but it's not like so like when I think of fast-paced, I think of like Wall Street, or I don't know, all the different stuff, all the like the startups and stuff. And I was in some, yeah, I don't really like that fast-paced stuff where and I think of active and fast-paced as like a stressful job, and I do not do well with stressful jobs. You enjoy having a wide circle of acquaintances. Heck no. Um, I have like 10 or 12 good friends, and um, I don't really talk to anyone else. You feel involved when watching TV soaps. I mean, assuming I watch TV soaps, I don't, but this is a big no. I don't. I'm the kind of person where I don't get that emotional when I see characters and things having moments. So that's a big no. You're usually the first to react to a sudden event, the telephone ring, or unexpected question. I'm not really sure about this. I mean, I have fast reflexes, but I don't really have any evidence for or against this, so I'm going to say uncertain. You feel that the world is founded on compassion. Um, this is another uncertain. I think there's like equal parts compassion, equal parts, equal part compassion, equal part not compassion. But you think that everything in the world is relative. I'd say somewhat yes, because I definitely have seen butterfly effect type things in my own life. Um, and I also think of this one philosophy where we're all just contrast monkeys. Like we have these 8 or 9 out of 10 lives, and then we get sad when we see a bunch of 10 out of 10 lives. Like this happens a lot on social media. So it's a big contrast. Like if you get to 30 degrees from fall to winter, you're like, this is cold. But in Chicago this past winter, we had like -40, -50 degree days, and we got out of school for that one, or for me, for out of work for my subbing job, and then you get to 30 degree after that, and you're like, wow, this is warm. So yeah, a lot of stuff is relative. Strict observance of the established rules is likely to prevent attaining a good outcome. This is all about like, do I follow rules or not? And I mean, I follow rules. Um, so I'm gonna say like somewhat no, because I don't. I rarely break the rules. I remember stealing some keychains from other kindergartners' backpacks when I was in kindergarten, and that just gave me so much guilt that I never wanted to do like illegal stuff. Besides, I download music from YouTube to MP3. So that's the one thing. It is difficult to get you excited. I'd say somewhat yes, just because I don't know, like a lot of good stuff has happened to me, so it's like that whole contrast thing. It need like the next thing needs to be like bigger than the other things to make me feel as excited. When making a decision, you rely more on your feelings than on analysis of the situation. No, there's a lot of this like feelings versus reasoning, and I'm definitely very much reasoning. And I feel like my feelings, like I make some Amazon purchases based on anxious feelings, where like, oh, I need this thing, and then a week later I realize, oh wait, I don't need this thing. Like sometimes with my purchases, I just need to wait like a couple days before I actually make them. um, Different stuff. You often think about humankind and its destiny. Not really. I mean, I'm someone who's like thinking that we're not going to be here, like, you know, centuries from now. Like, we might. But, like, if we're extinct, it's like, it's not the end of the world, because then a lot of other life and plant stuff and all the protists and bacteria and fungi, like they'll thrive without us, kind of thing. So I sometimes think of that. It's like I feel like I feel like humankind's just kind of slowly declining. So I don't want to think about negativity like that. You believe the best decision is one which can be easily changed. No way, no. I think it's the opposite. You believe the best decision is one that can't be easily changed, because then you realize that it's the only decision. You often ponder the root cause of phenomena and things. I definitely think about like what things in the past led to this moment, but I don't think of like, and I know I should as a scientist think more about like what are the inner workings of this like analog watch or something like that, but I'm going to say uncertain, cuz this is like you often ponder, like I think I sometimes. You prefer to act immediately rather than speculate about various options. No, I'm the kind of person who makes pros and cons lists for a lot of things. And I try to wait it out. You trust reason rather than feeling. That's a big yes, like we said before. You are inclined to rely more on improvisation than on prior planning. No, I make a lot of lists, and I plan out a lot of my week with those lists. So I don't really know when I even improvise. Maybe like a chess match where you have to think on the fly of what you want to do, but yeah. You spend your leisure time actively socializing with a group of people, attending parties, shopping, etc. No, I don't have a lot of friends in this area, and I rarely shop, and I don't attend too many parties, so no. Usually plan your actions in advance, yes. Your actions are frequently influenced by your emotions, no. Some of these are kind of like sort of repeat questions in different wording. You are a person somewhat reserved and distant in communication. I'm gonna say uncertain because if you're just individually texting me, I'm pretty quick to respond. But in terms of my friends' group message that we've been on the past 5 years, like they talk about so much stuff that I don't care about that sometimes I'll see their messages like a couple hours later because I'm also trying to not be on my phone as much. It's definitely tough when I don't have a job, but once I have a job, I'm hoping for like getting back to my whole under 6 hour or under 60 minutes a day schedule. You know how to put every minute of your time to good purpose. Yes, this is all about my self improvement and being productive and all of that stuff and making the list. You often contemplate the complexity of life. No, and I know I should. I mean, this is a somewhat no because I still think about some things, but I know as a scientist, I keep saying that I should be thinking more about all that stuff, but in reality, I think about the stuff that benefits me, kind of thing. After prolonged socializing, you feel you need to get away and be alone. Yes, this is just classic introvert. This is like I versus E. And yeah, I'm usually out of my friends, I'm like the first one to leave. Partly because I want to get some good sleep, but partly because I'm just worn out. You often do jobs in a hurry. That's somewhat yes. This has gotten me in trouble in a lot of post grad jobs because I don't check my work and then I get in trouble for making mistakes. So yes, I do those things, but I hopefully don't do them as much now that I have more self discipline and I'm not in a rush all the time. You easily see the general principle behind specific occurrences. I'll say like somewhat yes because I don't know. I can kind of see like why people feel different emotions depending on the situation, um, and stuff like that, cause and effect stuff. So you frequently and easily express your feelings and emotions. Mm, this is uncertain because I don't know. My emotions are just kind of baseline, like pretty good, like 8 or 9 out of 10. So I don't really feel like I want to express them all the time because maybe other people's are feeling worse or they don't really like I express them if they're negative or if I'm extremely happy, but usually they're just at that baseline. They don't change a lot and it's just like it feels normal to me. So why express normal feelings? You find it difficult to speak loudly. I say somewhat no. Like I usually don't try to be loud, but I think I have a naturally louder voice. Um, and when I get excited, I'll speak louder. You get bored if you have to read theoretical books. I'm gonna say no. I mean, some theoretical books, like in terms of some of the books in college, but all my chess books are pretty theoretical, so I kind of like that. You tend to sympathize with other people. This is gonna make me look bad, but it's a small no because I've been thinking about this lately. Like sometimes I think like, oh, do I have empathy, sympathy? Because like when I see stuff on the news that's like bad stuff, well, usually in general I just avoid that stuff because it makes me depressed. But I don't. It's not like I don't know. Like I don't. Like I need to like be close with someone to feel their pain kind of thing. Like this happens with my friends and some people at my work and my family, but if it's just like a stranger who's feeling something bad, unless I know exactly that feeling, like, oh yeah, I've chipped my tooth before, so I know that sucks. Because that happened to me in fifth grade, so I know that sucks when I see it. And I really cringe when I see people chipping teeth. Um, but if it's something like all the stuff in the news, it just, you get desensitized to it. You value justice higher than mercy. Yes, big yes. That was the whole, I don't know if I talked about it. I think I talked about it, but the EDM groups in college just deciding to ghost me, or just one ghosted me and then the other just straight up rejected me. And the friend that I had in the group that rejected me, like, he's tried to add me on Facebook because he seems kind of like not all there, because he's made different Facebook accounts, and he's always added me as a friend, and I just always ignore it because I don't want to talk to him again. You rapidly get involved in the social life of a new workplace. No, big no, because a lot of my workplaces have been mostly women, and I don't know, like, if you're a guy in mostly women workplace, like, you're not gonna make a lot of friends, because a lot of them don't make guy friends because they're like in relationships or whatever, which, it's kind of dumb. I mean, I've met some people who are like okay with that, but the more people you speak to, the better you feel. Mm, this is slight no. Like, sometimes I need to talk with people, like if I have problems, but a lot of times, nah. It's like, because the more people I speak to, the more likely it'll be that it'll start to seep into outside of my 12 friends, and then I don't really want to talk with those people. I feel like I've had a lot of no's. It's kind of somewhat equal. You tend to rely on your experience rather than on theoretical alternatives. This is somewhat yes, yeah. I try to learn from my mistakes, especially in chess, so that's true. As a rule, you proceed only when you have a clear and detailed plan. I'm gonna say yes. Sometimes I just like do something. Like today, I just decided to ride my bike the other way on the prairie path that I haven't gone in years, and I didn't like look up all these different GPS stuff and routes, but usually I have like some sort of plan. You easily empathize with the concerns of other people. I'm gonna say small no, because first of all, it says easily. Second of all, it's the whole like, unless I like care about you, I don't really empathize with you. I know that makes me sound bad, but whatever. Often you prefer to read a book than go to a party. It is uncertain. It depends on the book, and it depends on the party. When with a And it says often also, so that's definitely makes it uncertain. When with a group of people, you enjoy being directly involved and being at the center of attention. No, I'd rather just. I'm the kind of guy who's just a little bit on the side, and then I'll come up with something witty just on occasion that everyone will love, kind of thing. You're more inclined to experiment than to follow familiar approaches. Trying to remember. I'm trying to think of like if this has happened to me. I'm gonna say slight no, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know when I experiment. Like, I kind of follow set. I kind of follow like tips that are set in chess, and I'm by the book when it comes to cooking things, and um yeah, all that stuff. But you're strongly touched by the stories about people's troubles. I'm going to say small no. I think the one thing that does touch me a little bit in terms of the whole empathy is the Humans of New York Facebook and Instagram page, because some of those stories are like, I'm like, wow, those people. I mean, it's just like everyday people, and they go through all these hardships. So it's always a little small no. Deadlines seem to you to be of relative rather than absolute importance. No, I'm very much by the due date kind of person. I don't procrastinate on things. You prefer to isolate yourself from outside noises. This is a small yes. I mean, I still have to like talk to at least one person each day, but it's a small yes because I mean, I got my earplugs even when I'm at the library doing work. I don't go to the library that much now that I've moved in because I have space here, but I find a quiet room in the house to do work in and to just do stuff on my laptop. So for you, it is easier to gain knowledge through hands-on experience than from books or manuals. I'm gonna say small yes because I think about chess with this, and playing actual games has taught me way more than different books. I mean, chess books like actually I don't really retain a lot from them. Like I feel like I need to do more hands-on stuff online or in person. You think that almost everything can be analyzed. Big yes. We haven't had many of these. But yeah, I'm definitely an overanalyzer, and I I mean even a couple days ago I calculated the number of miles I've driven for all my chess tourneys during the last 3 years because I've had like a 3 year chess career so far in terms of these adult tournaments. So it's like 7,200 miles, and then I've spent around $7,200 on chess stuff, books and different things on online and tournaments and stuff, and those are pretty close. That was kind of weird. For you, no surprises is better than surprises, bad or good ones. I'm gonna say yes. I mean, I've already had like a lot of good things happen to me, so I'd rather just know stuff right away. And I just hate waiting for things. Like I was waiting 3 months for a decision on student teaching for this one high school district, and I just hated that. I'd rather just not have any surprise, just tell me right away, yes or no. You take pleasure in putting things in order. Big yes. Yes, all of my lists. And I also usually keep things clean in my room, and you know, at my work, I did a lot of just cleaning when I had the time in the classroom, just to put things in the trash. So you feel at ease in a crowd. Uncertain. I mean, I don't really feel at ease, but I don't feel nervous in a crowd. So that's uncertain. You have control over your desires and temptations. Say small yes. I always try to have good self discipline, but sometimes I fold. Sometimes I make those purchases on Amazon, and I'm like, wait, why did I buy this? But yeah, I'm trying to always have better control. You easily understand new theoretical principles. Yes. Yeah, it's easy to learn. I don't know. That's just, I'm good with theoretical things, theory. Usually place yourself nearer to the side than in the center of the room. I'll say yes. Yeah, because I don't want to be the person who has to carry the whole room kind of thing. When solving a problem, you would rather follow a familiar approach than seek a new one. It's probably a big yes. Well, it depends on the problem, right? Um, I guess like the problems I've had in my life, um, I'm always like trying new things. Like I think a lot of these I'm thinking back to my chess, and like I don't have like a familiar approach to how I should improve my chess, and I'm always seeking new things. Thirst for adventure is something close to your heart. Big yes. I do want to travel abroad. I've been to 8 countries so far, and I want it to be more. I want it, but it depends on. I have to save money for it, obviously. So that'll come after, during the summers of my teaching life, and maybe like the Christmas breaks. When considering a situation, you pay more attention to the current situation and less to a possible sequence of events. It's kind of a tough one. I guess small yes, because in the moment I'm not thinking about the future. Because I think of like all those split second situations, and I'm just thinking about that. When solving a problem, you consider the rational approach to be the best. Big yes. Yeah, rationality better than emotions. You find it difficult to talk about your feelings. Um, say uncertain. I mean, like a lot of my negative emotions about other people, I just keep to myself. So, we'll say yes. No, we'll say uncertain. Cause at the same time, if someone asks me how I'm feeling, like I'm pretty in tune as to like how I'm feeling, and I'll just say it right then and there. Your decisions are based more on the feeling of a moment than on the thorough planning. Big no. I'm all about planning. You prefer to spend your leisure time alone or relaxing in a tranquil atmosphere? Big yes. I like to walk by myself. I like to hit tennis balls off the wall at my former middle school by myself. I like to just watch YouTube videos by myself or stuff like that. You feel more comfortable sticking to conventional ways. It's uncertain because I can't really think of a situation. You're easily affected by strong emotions. Um, Big no. Um, I just don't have like a lot of strong emotions, and when I have them, I kind of just wait it out. You're always looking for opportunities. Uh, Uncertain. I think like in the past I was in terms of when I was trying to make some side money. When I would buy stuff from Goodwill and try to sell it on eBay, or when I was on Mechanical Turk, that's the Amazon task website, and I was trying to make like 50 cents or $1 doing different tasks and stuff like that. But nowadays, like I'm pretty set in my schedule, so I'm not trying to look for like other social things. As a rule, current preoccupations worry you more than your future plans. It's a small no, because if it's like a big current preoccupation, then I'm gonna think about it. But in general, like with my future plans, the small problems of the present kind of fade away. It is easy for you to communicate in social situations. I'd say small, yes. I mean, some things I don't do the best with, like sarcasm. Sometimes, like sarcasm, you have to have like that change in tone. Some people don't really do that, and then I don't really understand them. But yeah, that's a big yes. But also sometimes like I don't feel like talking, so we're gonna make that uncertain. You rarely deviate from your habits. Yes. Small yes, because I had that whole burst earlier this year that changed a lot of my habits. You willingly involve yourself in matters which engage your sympathies. No. I don't look at all that emotional stuff and all the TV shows and movies and stuff. No. You easily perceive your various ways in which events could develop. Uncertain, because I can't really think of something like that. All right, score it. INTJ, as always. Although intuitive is only 6%. You have a slight preference of intuition over sensing, 6%. But the other ones are pretty deep over the other one. You have moderate preference of introversion over extroversion. So it's like 47% more introversion, I guess. You have slight preference of intuition over sensing. You have distinct preference of thinking over feeling. Yes, that's all the rational versus feeling stuff. You have moderate preference of judging over perceiving. So we're gonna go over here. I've always been an INTJ. Although like I saw on Twitter when I was active on Twitter like a couple months ago that there are a bunch of jokes at the expense of INTJs I think because like INTJs, you'll see in this thing right here, but basically they're just these like it's like these like logical people, and I think the whole joke is like, oh, I'm an INTJ, so I'm logical and I'm like smarter than you kind of thing. So we're gonna read this. It's a lot. I mean, it's all these sections, but each section is like a bunch of pages of stuff. So I'll just try to highlight the stuff that makes sense to me. Thought constitutes the greatness of man. Man is a reed, the feeblest thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. I definitely try to think a lot in terms of my introspection, so that makes sense. It can be lonely at the top, being one of the rarest personality types and being among the most capable people. Yeah, I think I'm kind of capable. Architects know this all too well. Yeah, they're called architects. They make up just 2% of the population, and women with this personality type are especially rare, forming only 0.8%. It can be difficult for architects to find people who can keep up with their nonstop analysis of things. Yeah, sort of. Although I think I found friends who also analyze things pretty well. Um, but a lot of times I text like a long explanation of something, and people are like, oh, you're overthinking it. Like, I'm the kind of person that will just text like a couple paragraphs to someone to explain something. Like, whoa. People with this personality type are imaginative yet decisive. Hold up. This is the part, this is one of the big parts that I don't fall into in terms of INTJ. I am not really imaginative. I don't I don't have a lot of creative like I don't have like there are some people my age who they have all these business ideas like, "Oh, we can make this business and we make so much money, but we don't have the startup capital, so we can't do it." Like, I'm not the kind of person who like can think up some sort of invention or some sort of business idea to get money from. Ambitious yet like their privacy. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely want to be like ambitious in terms of my chess and my tennis. I mean, career wise, I mean, for me, a career is more just like a means to the meaning of my life. And the meaning of my life is more about just the things I'm passionate about. Because I don't know if I'm going to be super passionate about teaching, but it'll be a way to do something that I generally like. Curious about everything, but remain focused. I'm not like curious about everything. Insight of the day. Architects are the most likely personality type to enjoy learning new things just for the sake of knowing them. That's sort of like what I do. In terms of like reading novels the past couple months, I've thought like, yeah, I want to read this because I only have one life, and if I don't read this, then I'll never know like what it's about, kind of thing. The right attitude for meeting goals. With a natural thirst for knowledge that shows itself early in life, other kids at school often call architects bookworms. I don't really read a lot of books though. While their peers may intend to insult them, those with this personality type likely identify with the label. Throughout their lives, they're proud of how much they know. I don't really feel pride. It's more just like I know that I know a lot of things, but I don't really put an emotion on that. And architects enjoy sharing the knowledge they gain. Definitely true. As a future teacher, as someone who teaches tennis lessons, and I've tutored other stuff. They're confident in their mastery of their chosen subjects. Yep, tennis and chess. They are serious and prefer to design and carry out effective plans rather than waste their time with foolish distractions like gossip. I kind of like gossip though, celebrity or just stuff about my family and friends. But yeah, effective plans for sure. You're not entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. I don't really get that. Architects accept and work with inconsistencies that make perfect sense to them, at least from a purely rational standpoint. For example, architects can be both the most positive dreamers and the bitterest pessimists at the same time. I don't really know. Like sometimes I'm definitely pessimistic. I don't know if I have like a lot of positive dreams super positive dreams. Most. On the positive side, these personalities believe nothing is impossible with enough effort, intellect, and thought. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, I definitely felt that when I was improving myself by a ton. But there's usually another side to most beliefs. On the negative side, they might also believe that people are usually too lazy, unimaginative, or selfish to reach hard goals, but this idea won't put them off chasing their own. But like a lot of people are lazy. Like a lot of people are. Standing on logic and principles. Architects are self confident and have an aura of mystery. Using their insights and logic, they push innovation through sheer willpower. Yeah, there's a lot of this innovation talk, but I'm not really like an innovator. It may seem that architects constantly deconstruct and rebuild every idea and system they encounter. I don't do that. I'm not like an engineer. They typically apply a sense of perfectionism, even morality, to all their work. I don't know. Anyone who can't keep up with architects' processes or doesn't see the point of them is likely to lose their respect. The independent architects remain free from the expectation of others. This allows them to pursue their own interesting and fresh ideas. Okay? Architect personality types dislike rules, restrictions, and traditions. This is some of this is true in terms of like different ways the U.S. can be run. Like electoral college is just stupid, and why do for insurances? Why is it that providers only accept certain ones? Like I really don't get that. And then like yeah, just different stuff at different jobs where there were rules. I was like, why is this a rule? For them, everything should be subject to questions and reviews. Yes, I think that for the most part. When they can, architects often act alone, and their approaches are usually innovative and unique. They may not wait for others to catch up to them. Because of this, they're sometimes not as sensitive as they could be to the thoughts, desires, and plans of others. I don't know. That might be true for me. I don't know. But they aren't impulsive. I'm usually not impulsive, just maybe 10% of the time I am. Architects will strive to remain rational no matter how attractive an easy but ill-considered route might be. Every idea must pass the strict and ever-present does this make sense and is this going to work filters. This is definitely true of my chess when I'm making moves. They apply the filters to all things and all people, and this is sometimes where architect personalities run into trouble. Traveling alone and accomplishing much. Architects are confident in the subjects they take the time to understand, but unfortunately they are unlikely to bother with topics that involve social skills. Yeah, that's kind of true with me because I don't really seek out. I don't really like try to put myself out there in terms of joining different groups near me and stuff. White lies and small talk, even when useful, are hard for a personality type that needs truth and depth. Yes, I definitely need deep conversations, and small talk is dumb. Architects may even see many social practices as downright stupid. Okay. Ironically, it is often best for architects to remain where they're comfortable, out of the spotlight. They have natural confidence there. If they stay within their element and do what they do best, they're likely to draw people to them, both professionally and even romantically. Well, I have stayed out of the spotlight romantically, and it has gotten me nowhere, so that is not really true. Maybe when I'm like a physics teacher and I'm not in the spotlight and I'm kind of aloof, maybe then, but yeah. They are fine on their own and reaching out is often optional. Yeah, I'm definitely fine on my own ever since second half of college. Architects move through life as though it were a giant chessboard. Definitely true for me. I love this paragraph. They move their pieces about the board intelligently. This personality type always looks for new tactics, strategies, and contingency plans. Yep, this is all true. They constantly outsmart their peers as they maintain control, all the while making the most of their independent style of thinking. Yeah. I mean, I don't know when I have to outsmart my peers, though. I'm not sure about this part. Maybe like if I'm arguing in text or something, but the chess metaphor for their strategic style isn't meant to suggest that architects act coldly and without conscience, but architects like to win and dislike acting solely on emotions. This can make it seem that way to other types who don't understand them well. This may explain why many fictional villains are modeled on this personality type. But architects are as likely. Yeah, I think I haven't seen the newest um, Avenger movies, but I feel like the bad guy in this, Thanos, he's probably modeling this because I think I heard that like he goes on his own set of beliefs in what he does, and he thinks those set of beliefs are right. But architects are as likely as anyone else to act from integrity, or more, if to do so makes clear sense. All right, strengths and weaknesses. Inside of the day, architects are the most likely. Oh, wait, we already saw that. Architects' strengths: quick, imaginative, and strategic mind. Architects pride themselves on their minds, and they take every chance they can to improve their knowledge. This shows in the strength and flexibility of their strategic thinking. Yeah, you definitely have to be flexible in your strategy when it comes to chess. Highly curious and always up for an intellectual challenge, architects see things from many different angles. I don't know what intellectual challenges I'm up for besides chess. Architect personalities use their creativity to plan for unforeseen possibilities. Yeah, I kind of do that. Like I sometimes think of like worst case scenario type stuff. High self confidence. Architects trust their rationalism above all else, so when they decide something, they have no reason to doubt their decisions or insights. This creates an honest, direct style of communication that isn't held back by what others expect of them. I'm definitely honest and direct most of the time. Um, I'll just say what's on my mind. When architects are right, they're right. Nothing will change the fact. Whether it's a person, a process, or themselves whose course needs to be corrected, they'll hold their ground and have it no other way. But I also don't. I'm not always trying to be like always right. So I don't know about this. Independent and decisive, but high self confidence in general. Like I definitely feel this. Independent and decisive. This creativity, logic, and confidence form individuals who stand on their own and take responsibility for their actions. Authority figures don't impress architects. This is definitely true when it came to those other jobs where I had to report to someone at an office. I did not like that. And neither do social conventions. And no matter how popular something is, if they have a better idea, architects stand against anyone they must to promote their plan. Either an idea is rational or it's wrong, and they're happy to apply that standard to themselves. Okay, I'm not like this like robot rational type of person that they are making it seem like. I think I'm mostly rational, but sometimes not. Hardworking and determined. If something grabs their attention, architect personalities can be very dedicated to their work. They often put in long hours and intense effort. Yeah, I'll do this when it's something I'm interested in. Yeah, and that's what they said. If something grabs their interest. Yeah, like chess, I'll put 6 hours into chess if I have to. Um, Architects are efficient, and if tasks lead to meeting a clear and relevant goal, they strive to accomplish those tasks. Yep. And I'd make like daily to-do lists of tasks I need to do. Open-minded. Architects are open to new ideas as long as they're argued well. People with this personality type are even, maybe especially, open to ideas that go against their own thinking. Against their own if the thinking is sound. They often apply their openness and independence when thinking about matters like alternative lifestyles. Mix this with their alternative lifestyles. Well, I have thought about the possibility of just never marrying anyone. So yeah. Mix this with their dislike for rules and traditions, and it's easy to see how architects might lean toward more tolerant social views. Jacks of all trades. Because of architects' open-mindedness, willpower, independence, confidence, and planning abilities, they are capable of doing anything they set their minds to accomplish. Skilled at hacking anything life throws their way. I definitely feel like with my self-improvements, I've written a document before that's like my life feels like I'm living with cheat codes. So yeah. Architects are able to break down and learn from almost any system. They then use the ideas found there wherever they're needed. Architects tend to have their pick of jobs, from IT system designers to political organizers. That is not true of me. All right. Architect weaknesses. Arrogant. Architect personalities can carry their confidence too far. They may falsely believe that they fix all the issues of a matter. They might then call it a day, rejecting the opposing opinions of those they believe to be intellectually inferior. I don't really think of like people as intellectually inferior. I just think that there are like dumb people, but I also I don't know, maybe I don't know if I have this arrogance. With their disrespect for social standards, architects can be insensitive when offering their opinions if they aren't mindful of their attitude and less developed social skills. This might be true for me. Judgmental. Architects have complete confidence in their thought processes because rational arguments are almost by definition correct, at least in theory. In practice, emotional considerations and history are hugely influential. A weak point for people with the architect personality type is that they brand these factors and those who embrace them as illogical. I don't really like think of like this whole like logical versus illogical type of thinking. They often dismiss them as people who think in an inferior way. I don't say it this way, I just think like, oh, that person's dumb. This can make it all but impossible for others to be heard. Overly analytical. A repeated theme when discussing the strengths of architects is their analytical skills, but this strength can fail them when logic isn't the most important factor. Relationships in all their complexities often resist neat explanations. This is true of me. Architects may be highly critical and sometimes reach a high level of picky thoroughness. This is even more often the case with turbulent. I don't know if they talked about turbulent architects when dealing with others. Yeah, this can be true. I've definitely been picky in terms of finding a woman. At that point, most people, with the exception of extremely loyal and understanding friends, are likely to flee, sometimes not to be seen again. Loathe highly structured environments. Definitely true. Definitely true. Architects hate blindly following anything without understanding why. They have a greater dislike for authority figures who go around forcing others to obey laws and rules without understanding the purpose of the standards themselves. Architects are likely not to get along with anyone who prefers how things have always been. Yeah, I'm true. I mean, yeah, that's true for me. Um, sometimes I'm like I just said this today with my dad because I remember we were talking about like he was on call for his hospital. I was like, I was talking to him about this is a long story. I'm not gonna get into it, but basically, I was like, why do hospitals feel like they're a business when usually you're gonna go to the nearby hospital? But my dad made a good point in terms of like if there's a special surgery and stuff like that or different procedures, you can pick and choose the hospital you want to go to. However, by not going along with the standards, even when doing so might not be a big deal, architects can make their lives harder than they need to be. Clueless in romance. Very true for me. Never had a girlfriend. Never been physical. This resentment toward rules and their tendency to overanalyze and judge, even to the point of arrogance, adds up to a personality type often clueless in dating. Yes, I've only gone on one date. Having a new relationship last long enough for architects to understand what is going on and how to behave is difficult. Trying harder in the ways that architects are used to can only make things worse, and unfortunately, it's common for them to simply give up the search for love. Yes, I have talked about maybe I won't find someone. Ironically, this more relaxed state is when they're at their best. And only then are they most likely to attract that special someone without any effort. I don't know about this because I've been pretty relaxed past couple months, and actually for a while. I feel like most of this year after the whole video game stuff. Um, wait, no. Simply give up the search for love. No, 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 no. Okay, so I've been on dating apps on and off until early June. So it's been about a month. So maybe this will become true. Alright, romantic relationships. Speaking of which, of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. Bertrand Russell. I haven't really been saying the people's names of the quotes. In romance, people with the architect personality type approach things the way they do most situations. They create a well-designed plan with precise expectations and the right end goal. I don't have like a cheat sheet of what I'm gonna talk about on a date or whatever. And no, actually, wait. Did I write questions? I might have written questions in the document for the one date I had early May. I don't think I wrote. No, I didn't write questions. I just wrote things about her from the dating app conversation. So that was what I wrote down. Here, the goal is a healthy, long term relationship. They rarely fall head over heels in love in a way that involves spontaneous passion and romance. This has only happened maybe only once. I don't know. Like, I haven't really been super infatuated since that high school thing. Architects find potential partners who meet certain established criteria, break the dating process down into measurable steps, then complete the plan with great precision. I need more experience just going on dates for this. In a purely rational world, this would be foolproof. However, it ignores important factors that architects are likely to easily dismiss, such as human nature. People with the architect personality type are intellectual, always developing a world in their heads that is more perfect than reality. Other people entering their worlds need to fit this fantasy in some way, even if only by agreeing with their concepts. Yeah, yeah, she's gonna need to like understand when I need my alone time and stuff with like my chess and my YouTube and just my writing. Maybe it can be incredibly difficult for architects to find someone up to the task. Finding a compatible partner is the most significant challenge the majority of architects will face in life. This is very true. I have talked about how finding a girlfriend is quote unquote in my the last piece in my puzzle. I have talked about it. I'm like, because I basically have everything in life figured out besides finding someone. Because it's like, I know what I'm due for money, I know what I'm going to do for a job for the next 40 years, blah, blah, blah. I have the friends that I want to just keep for the rest of my life, and it's okay if I don't make more. And I have a good family, and I know how to spend my time. But it's like finding that someone. Last puzzle piece. Direct and honest over social rights. Sentiment, tradition, and emotion are architects' weaknesses, and social gestures that seem not to have a clear purpose are often viewed by architects as silly, even insulting. The problem is that common ritualistic dating practices grew over time to make introduction between potential partners easier. They help. Yeah, so this is the whole like. This might be like how dating apps are becoming the tradition, and I just reject that. They help couples gradually develop a connection. Architects' liking for directness and honesty in both word and deed often go against these unspoken social agreements and niceties. This can make dating difficult for them. The lesson architects often learn is that the ways of love are hard to describe on a spreadsheet. Yeah. As they mature, architects often come to see romantic rituals as important. But until they do, it can be risky, especially for turbulent architects. So I want to know what turbulent architects is. But they don't really talk about that. If they are shot down too many times when younger, they may decide that everyone else is too irrational or beneath them intellectually. Well, I wasn't shot down too many times when I was younger. I just never attempted to get shot down. If cynicism takes hold, architect personalities may begin to show off their intellectual superiority as they place themselves above such silliness. Being alone then becomes their unintentional choice, a kind of surrender to a life without love. I've definitely kind of felt this whole surrender to life without love. Always cool. The positive side of architects giving up is that they are most attractive when they aren't trying to be attractive. They are most appealing when they are doing what they do best. Yeah, but there's barely any women my age at chess tournaments, and I'm not in any tennis leagues. Generally, that means working in a familiar environment where their confidence and intelligence can shine. Allowing others to come to them is often architects' best strategy. Then, if they believe a relationship has potential, they will spare no effort in developing and maintaining stability and long-term satisfaction. Once a relationship begins, an architect's significant other will find an imaginative and enthusiastic companion. Architects typically give a huge amount of freedom to the people they love. They're usually trusting partners. I mean, I'm generally trusting of people. Like I went to this historical farm today that's on the prairie path when I was biking, and I didn't have a lock, but I couldn't bring the bike on the farm because it might quote unquote scare the horses. So I left it near the entrance just on the bike rack, but without a lock. So I'm like, no one's gonna take it. Who would steal a bike here? People with the architect personality type may never be very comfortable sharing their feelings, and they may spend more time thinking about love than expressing it. We'll see how all this stuff goes if I ever get there. But using their strategic thinking, they usually figure out how to make a situation work for everyone, including the act of falling in love. Architects seek strong, deep relationships and trust their knowledge and logic to ensure that their partner is satisfied both intellectually and physically. Okay. But when it comes to emotional satisfaction, architects are often out of their element. Not every partner likes addressing conflicts and emotional needs as cold puzzles to be analyzed and solved as architects do. Yeah, we're going to see about how all these things work. Sometimes emotions need to be expressed for their own sake, and putting every outburst under the microscope, as architects are prone to do, isn't always helpful. If outbursts become a habit needing constant attention, or architects think these personalities can simply end the relationship. They'll see this as more rational than dragging things out to their exhausting conclusion. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about all this stuff. Truth and morality. Architects are deep and intellectual people, bringing stability and insight into their romantic relationships. They prize honest communication, and everything in a relationship is open to discussion and change. Yeah, definitely honesty. But this must be returned by their partners. Architects do what they think is right regardless of feelings, and sometimes that comes across as cold. It's important for their partners to know that architects don't make these decisions lightly. They spend tremendous time and energy trying to understand why and how things go wrong, and they hurt deeply when things fall apart. This is especially true if they've taken the difficult risk of committing themselves deeply. Their challenge is finding partners who share those same values. While intuitive and personality types are uncommon, they may be a must for many architects. Sharing this trait creates an immediate sense of mutual belonging. Having one or two balancing personality traits, such as extroversion, feeling, or prospecting, can also help keep a relationship dynamic and growth oriented. They challenge architects to remain involved with other people, get in touch with their emotions, and stay open to things they're not used to. Okay. Friendships. A friend to all is a friend to none. Aristotle. That is true. You can't have like 5 different friend groups, like some of my friends do. Architects tend to have more success in developing friendships than they do with romantic relationships. That's true of me, but they have many of the same difficulties with both. They too often put rational processes in place of emotional availability. This intellectual distance tends to go both ways. Architects are difficult for others to get to know, and they don't always want to bother with anyone else they believe isn't on their level. You know, most of my friends are pretty smart. Actually, I think all my friends were in some sort of like gifted reading or math. Most of them are in elementary school. Avoiding these potholes is nearly impossible, except for the instant connection often made when potential friends share the intuitive personality trait. I don't know what intuitive is. Friends as intellectual soulmates. Sorry, my throat is really hurting. I might drink some water in a bit. Architects tend to have strong opinions about what works, what doesn't, what they're looking for, and what they're not. This can come across as arrogance, but architects would argue it's a basic filtering tool that allows them to focus more effectively. Yeah, I've definitely, yeah, I don't know. In friendship, people with the architect personality type are looking for an intellectual soulmate more than anything else. People who aren't equipped for such a relationship are seen as boring. Architects need to share their expansive ideas, making chronic small talk is something they typically avoid. Architects will keep up with just a few good friends, eschewing large circles of acquaintances in favor of depth and quality. Yeah, I'd rather have 5 really good friends than 20 so-so. Further, having more than just a few friends may compromise architects' sense of independence and self-sufficiency. They gladly give up popularity to ensure this freedom. This need for freedom even applies to the few who fit the architect's criteria for friendship. Their relationships need little attention or upkeep to remain on good terms. They encourage everyone in their lives to enjoy the same independence. With emotional support, architects are far from being good at offering comfort. They expect their friends to do the same. When emotional situations happen, architects may have no clue how to handle them. It's probably true for me. They may have no idea what to do. This sudden cluelessness goes against their usual ability to calmly and rationally make decisions and can seriously throw them off kilter. Okay? A unique friendship. When they are in their comfort zone, though, among people they know and respect, architects have no trouble relaxing and enjoying themselves. Their sarcasm and dark humor. I don't really use sarcasm, but definitely dark humor I use, aren't for everyone, especially those who struggle to read between the lines. But these types provide fascinating stories for those who can keep up. This more or less limits their pool of friends to other analysts and diplomat personality types. Observer types prefer more grounded and direct communication and may not be a good conversational match. But architects also have like that whole honest, direct communication stuff. And it's like whole logical stuff. So I don't get why you have these like conversations that are between the lines. I don't know. That doesn't seem logical. It's not always easy to become friends with architects. Rather than the usual social rules and behaviors, architects look for friends who value intellect, honesty, and a wish to grow and learn. Wish to grow and learn. Very much what I do with my new habits and the way I've self-improved in my chess and my tennis. Architects are bright and always want to improve themselves. Yes. Yes. Expect their friends to share this attitude. Yes, but a lot of friends don't have that. This is a big thing with my roommate is that it didn't seem like he wanted to grow as a person. And he wasn't also helping me grow as a person. So it's like that's why I'm kind of anti him sometimes. Anyone falling short of this is labeled a bore. But anyone with these qualities likely appreciates architects as well, forming strong and exciting friendships that stand the test of time. I'm trying to think this. I don't thing is, I don't have a lot of friends though that like are all about trying to improve and stuff. All right, we'll go to parenthood, which I don't know if I'll get to. Children must be taught how to think, not what to think. Yeah. I mean, school is basically like learning how to think about things, not the content. Because you're going to forget like basically all the content from high school and college and before that. It's more about just like gaining that work ethic, I guess. That's what a lot of school is. Alright, hold up. I'm going to drink some water first because I'm pretty thirsty. That went down quick. Hold up. I'm going to drink some more. That was my cup, and then I have my analogy. My nose is a little stuffy. I don't know why. Oh, my throat is just. Oh. Parenting, like so many other person-to-person relationships, is a challenge for people with the architect personality type. Oh yeah, for this parenting thing, like I'm gonna probably just breeze through it a little bit because I don't know any of it. Being so devoted to rational thought, logic, and analyzing cause and effects, architects aren't always prepared to deal with people who haven't developed these same abilities, like children. They may not always understand what their kids are about, but these parents can't walk away from their still learning offspring as they might a clueless adult. Luckily, architects thrive. Maybe this is why I wasn't a good fit in special needs because I kept thinking like all these kids are crazy, like they don't think rationally. Um, but I shouldn't be so anti special needs kids. Um, Luckily, architects thrive on committing to long-term projects. This may be especially true for a lifelong project as meaningful as parenthood. I was never big on like school projects though. I don't know. The challenge of emotional support. Architect parents aren't prone to give as much warmth as the classic images of parenting suggest they should. They are often insensitive and not prone to displays of affection. But I'm very much open to giving hugs to whoever, even like strangers. I'd like be okay hugging. But children need cuddling and other expressions of love, especially during the younger years. And if architects have children who are more sensitive, they may carelessly step on their feelings just to try to make sense of things. It can take a clear effort on their part to transform their colder traits into something warmer and more child friendly. Even less sensitive children need emotional support occasionally. This is especially true of adolescents. Architects, even more than other analyst types, have trouble handling their own emotions. They aren't likely they aren't likely to be much help as their children grow into theirs. Architects also tend to avoid tackling a problem that doesn't go along a well-defined path to a definitive answer, and emotional issues sometimes don't. Architects are strongest when finding a root cause and developing a plan to solve a problem. Yes, it's true of my chess, I guess. But sometimes the best solution to a kid's problem is just sitting with the kid as they explore their feelings. Architect parents don't just tell their kids what to do, though. They prompt them, make them use their own minds so they arrive at the same conclusions or better ones. This is a lot about like teaching is like you first teach to them and then you hope eventually that they can just teach themselves. It's this whole gradual release of responsibility model that we've been taught in grad school. So yeah, eventually you want them to be like self-sufficient. Architects also recognize that life is often the best teacher, and they tend to be a bit more liberal with boundaries, allowing their children to have their own adventures and make many of their own decisions. I think that was true in my special needs job. I was very much like, yeah, I'm just gonna let them play on the playground, and if they get hurt, then they'll learn, kind of thing. That kind of sounds negative, but I'll say like, I don't know. I was definitely like trying to like play catch and run around with them, whereas some of the other ones they just like, I don't know. They believe in developing their critical thinking skills. That isn't to say that architect parents are lenient, far from it. Rather, they expect their children to use their freedom responsibly, and this expectation alone is enough for parent and child to develop mutually appreciated ground rules. When necessary, architect parents speak openly with their children. They typically believe in honesty and that knowing the truth is better than not knowing it. They hold tight to the idea that being right is far better than being wrong, and for better or worse, pass this attitude on to their children. Raising children to be capable adults. If their children accept their approach to parenting, they begin to trust and respect their architect parents. Architect personalities are excellent communicators when they want to be. They frame problems as opportunities for personal growth. They help their children develop their own style of rational thinking and problem solving. With their parents' guidance, children can apply this to more and more complex situations, building their confidence as they grow. Architects try to make sure that their children are prepared to deal with anything life throws at them. All this comes from architects' core philosophy of intelligent self-direction. Yeah, I do a lot of this with my chess because for the most part, I just teach myself. These personalities try to mold their children in their own image. They work to raise capable adults who can use their own minds, solve their own problems, and help their own children do the same when the time comes. Architects understand this can't happen if they protect their children from every difficult or unpleasant thing in life. But then they believe that if they give their children the right tools, they won't have to. All right, let's go to career paths. We're getting closer. This is a marathon. The role of genius is not to complicate the simple, but to simplify the complicated. Yeah, that's what a lot of inventions do. Chris Jamie. Professional know-how is, okay, I'm going to say with career paths, it's a lot about like being innovators and stuff, and this is not going to pertain to like what I'm going to do. Professional know-how is often where architects shine most brilliantly. They easily take in complex principles and techniques and change them into clear and actionable strategies. No other personality type comes close to their ability to assess and organize concepts. I'm very good at organizing concepts, but Architects can usually sort out the noise of a situation. They then find the core thread that needs to be pulled to unravel messes, which they then put back together again. In the process, they produce the most elegant solutions to problems. As they grow, their confidence, enthusiasm, and creativity typically lead them to more interesting work. In time, they are likely to earn the independence they typically desire. Yeah, I definitely desire independence. The real problem for architects is that they need their new and creative ideas to be heard. Yeah, I don't have really like new and creative ideas. They need to have someone in charge listen to them. Forming relationships with people who make decisions is not exactly part of the architect's core strengths. In their early careers, architects often have to do boring tasks that don't challenge them and deal with having their ideas repeatedly rejected. Yeah, I was doing boring tasks before. But with time, they are likely to develop their abilities into skill sets so effective that they get noticed. Working best working alone. People with the architect personality type prefer to work alone or in small groups. This is true. There, they make the most of their creativity and focus without constant interruptions from curious coworkers and supervisors who call too many meetings. This is true. I like to work with head or earplugs. Architects are unlikely to be found in management roles or anything that involves nonstop interaction and teamwork. Rather, architects prefer more lone wolf jobs. They like a drawing board more than a boardroom meeting. They only get along with leaders who understand their style of working and can help advance their visions. Architects dislike anyone who gets ahead by playing the office politics games well or working a company's social scene just right. I didn't experience this enough to know if I like it or not. They judge their coworkers by what they can do, and not who they know. Architects have high standards. If they view a colleague or supervisor as being not up to those standards or otherwise ineffective, respect will be instantly and permanently lost. People with the architect personality type value personal resourcefulness, grit, insight, and commitment in themselves and in others. They believe that everyone should complete their work and meet the highest possible standards. If the social butterfly at work breezes through without carrying their own light, they may find architects using their ingenuity to find ways to stop their nonsense. Earning the right positions. As their careers progress further and their reputations grow, so will the challenges of the tasks and projects architects are offered. Architect personalities demand progress and evolution, and they love to explore new ideas. They often satisfy this by pushing themselves into more active strategic positions. While they don't care for the spotlight, architects do enjoy controlling their ideas. They often take on low profile but influential roles as project managers, systems engineers, marketing strategists, systems analysts, and military strategists. This is not true about me. Architects view a combination of intelligent approach and hard work as the road to excellence. But really, architects' vision, creativity, and skill in carrying out their plans make these personalities possible candidates for just about any career. Some careers, such as low level sales and human resources, clearly don't play to their strengths, but that shouldn't stop them if they decide to take up these kinds of work. Architects have the qualities necessary to work in just about any organization if they decide to. And if they find nothing out in the world, they usually have in abundance what it takes to start their own businesses. That is not true about me. Workplace habits. Alright, that's not too bad. Architects want to tackle intellectually interesting work with little outside interference. They want no more or no less. Shouldn't it be and no less? Time-consuming management techniques like trust-building gatherings, progress meetings, and long sessions that look backward rather than forward only annoy architects. All they need, be they subordinates, colleagues, or managers, is to meet their goals with the highest standard of technical excellence. And may help them if they are surrounded by people who share those values, if anyone surrounds them. On paper, this makes them appear to be model employees. In many ways, they are. But a lot of personality types will find working with architects challenging. Architects have a strict code of conduct when they work. If they see coworkers valuing social activity and accepting good enough workmanship over excellence, there's likely to be trouble. Architects prefer to work in tight, like-minded groups, and a group of one is just fine with this type. Okay, kind of repeated that stuff. Architect subordinates. Architect personalities are independent people. They can become frustrated if they find themselves pushed into roles that limit their freedom. Yeah, this was like a lot of my jobs. With the direction of an open minded manager, architects can set themselves up as experts and earn some of their desired independence. They rarely work to impress a boss. Architects appreciate straightforward, no nonsense managers. They respect those who lead competently, deliver thoughtful criticism when necessary, and back their decisions with clear logic. And they respect superiors even more when they step back and give architects room to work. Note that it's architects' expectations of their managers being defined here, and not the other way around, as with some other personality types. Titles mean little to architects. Trust and respect are earned, and architects expect this to be a two-way street with all receiving and delivering advice and criticism and all bringing about results. Architects expect their managers to be intelligent enough and strong enough to handle this relationship. A manager will know they don't have an architect's respect when they remain silent and don't bother to talk with them as their boss, or probably in any other capacity. Architect colleagues. Active teamwork is not ideal for people with the architect personality type. Independent and private, architects use their quick minds and insight to turn aside distractions, and they rarely take part in much personal talk or office drama. Architects often foster work environments where they aren't slowed down by those less intelligent, less capable, or less adaptable to their more efficient methods. They feel no need to bring their colleagues along if they aren't going to be helpful. Architects typically gather a small group of trusted colleagues into their brainstorming sessions. This is true of like my friend group, I guess. They rarely invite coworkers who get too hung up on details or who have not yet earned their respect. But more likely, architects simply go it alone. Their perfectionism and resolve usually mean they produce effective results and clean solutions. These successes give those with the architect personality type both the time alone they need and the sense of victory they enjoy. Architect managers. Though they may be surprised to hear it, architect personalities make natural leaders. Yeah, okay, I should mention this. I'm definitely a natural leader. Like when I'm in a situation where it's like a group of us that needs to do something, I'm always like, all right, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. Or like, maybe you should do this. I don't know. Architects value innovation and effectiveness more than just about any other quality. They are happy to throw aside the chain of command in favor of effective workflow, recognizing that artificial respect for their authority isn't necessarily going to bring about good results. Solutions are more important than positions to this type. Whatever works rules the day for these managers. Architects promote freedom and flexibility in the workplace, and they prefer to treat those who work for them as equals. They respect and reward proactive behavior. Their attitudes as managers can be summed up by the phrase, to the best mind go the responsibilities. They prefer to direct broader strategies while letting more hands on workers manage day to day activities. But this freedom isn't just granted, it's required. Those who are used to just being told what to do, who can't direct themselves or challenge existing ideas, have a hard time meeting architects' high standard. Efficiency and results are kings to architects, and behaviors that chip away at these standards are likely crushed. If workers attempt to make up for their poor results by trying to win their architect boss over with flattery or social attention, they are likely to be disappointed. Those things rarely work with architects. Conclusion. Okay. No escape from patterns and systems, no exits. Nothing and no one resides outside a system. That's the way it is. Lynn Tillman. Armed with a powerful intellect and strategic thinking, architects can overcome or outmaneuver obstacles that seem unbeatable to most. Their many quirks, such as often unconstrained rationalism, lead to many misunderstandings. Those misunderstandings end here. What you have read so far is just an introduction. We have a great deal more to tell you about the architect personality type, if you pay money in this academy, which we're not doing. In reading through your results, you probably hit a tipping point. You went from trademark architect skepticism to wait, what? You may even be a little uncomfortable because you're really not used to being understood, even by the people to whom you're closest. Also, what is that turbulent architect thing? I don't feel the need to look it up, and I'm just annoyed by that. Chances are you've accepted that as part of who you are and maybe even grown proud of it. But embracing that disconnection isn't a requirement for architects. It's a misused defense mechanism leading you down a lonely, inefficient path. Gaining insight into yourself and others is so much more rewarding. yeah, I'm definitely introspective, so I like getting insight into myself. This is no date of birth gimmick. Okay, so this isn't like astrology or all that stuff, horoscopes. No, we did not spy on you. Instead, we spent years studying architects' life story experiences and patterns in hundreds of our surveys. Step by step, insight by insight, we discovered how those who share your qualities and outlook have overcome the challenges they face. You are a unique individual, but you are not alone in this. It's wise to learn from others' experiences, and we'd like to share those insights with you. As you move forward into the ebooks and interactive courses we offer, we go much deeper into the architect mind. We answer not just what, but why, how, and what if. Why do you act the way you do? How do you find motivation and inspiration? What if you move beyond fear to pursue what you secretly want to achieve in life? We can show you how to use those strengths to unlock your potential and avoid common problems, while also staying true to who you are. That's the point, isn't it? To see how you can grow to be the person you know you're capable of being in ways that you finally feel right. Read on, architect. Oh, we're not doing that. All right. So, what do I think about INTJ? I mean, a lot of it describes me in terms of thinking strategically and being organized and having a plan for things and being intellectual and thinking others sometimes are dumb. But what doesn't make sense? Yeah, there's INTJ, A, and T. So this is probably turbulent, right? I don't know. What doesn't make sense? I'm not always thinking like, oh, I'm such a logical person. I'm not like a Ben Shapiro type of person who's like, oh, my logic's gonna outweigh what you have, blah blah blah. I don't think in terms of like logic versus illogic. I'm also not an innovator. I'm not really creative. What else? Yeah, a lot of the career path stuff wasn't about me. The parenthood stuff we'll see about. The friendship for sure, yeah. Like I have a small circle of friends and they have to be smart. Romantic relationships, that definitely describes me in terms of I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know where to look and I don't know what to do if I had something and I don't know blah blah blah. So that's all good. But yeah, this was a good about 80 minutes. So it was good to learn more about me because I read through this last week, but I was skimming a little bit more, so I learned more this time around. And I encourage everyone to try these out. Let me know how they go, because I mean, probably most people know what their MBTI is. But yeah, and the rest of the week is just like it was last week or this past week. Monday, Tuesday, I'm reviewing the first 40 problems and 100 endgames you must know. Wednesday's the two guess the move games. And then Thursday and Friday are back to just tactics. And then Saturday and Friday's the personal video day. Saturday and Sunday are too busy for any videos. So I'm very tired. It's been a very active day with my hour and a half of biking, hour and a half of walking, and yeah, I'm gonna try to upload this, see how long it takes. If it takes too long, then I'm just gonna upload it all tomorrow. Or maybe I'll just leave my laptop running and see how that goes. Cause I have my laptop set to like not go to sleep mode until like an hour. So that it just the screen stays how it is for like an hour. So all right, that is INTJ systems builders of the types. Um, yeah. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Or maybe I'll see you guys today, depending on when I upload this. All right. Peace.